This is the first of 3 videos for this lecture on the writing process. I figured it would be easier to cover this topic if I broke it down into 3 parts. However, the 3 parts won't necessarily be the ones you expect. Instead of concentrating each video on one part of the overall process of writing, I'm instead going to first give you an overview of the entire writing process, and then concentrate the next 2 videos on what I consider to be one of the most essential parts of college writing, the preparation. The second video will concentrate on making certain that you understand all the requirements for an assignment and where and how to get that information and use it to your advantage. The third video focuses on creating an outline for the writing assignment, one of the most useful tools you will ever have for college writing. There are 3 steps to the writing process: prepare, which is getting ready to write; draft, which is doing the actual writing itself; and revise, which is going back over the paper that you have written and revamping it. We're going to take a quick look at each in turn. The first step is prepare. Take a look at the slide for a moment. You will see that 2 of the points have asterisks next to them. Those points will be the focus of upcoming videos, so I'm just going to mention them in passing here. The first thing on the slide, however, says, choose your topic. Sometimes your instructor will tell you exactly what to write about and what your essay should contain, as I have done with the book phase. More often, your instructor will give you a broad or general topic, or perhaps no real topic at all. In that case, choosing your topic will become a more challenging step. You want to make sure that it fits the length requirement of the paper. A short paper calls for a much more narrow topic, for instance. Once you have chosen your topic, you then need to make sure you have the information you need to write your paper. Most of the time, this means you are going to be doing either some reading or some researching, and many times both. Don't forget, we have an online library available here at Brown Mackie, as well as a physical library. We also have a great resource person in Mr. Jundy. He's terrific at helping students with research projects or finding the material and information they need to complete assignments. Don't forget to take notes and write down all the names of your sources and where you got your information. You will need to include that in any research papers you do. The next step is drafting. If you're like me, you hate the idea of multiple drafts. I would much prefer to just write once and be done with it. However, if you want a polished paper, something you can be proud of, and that includes something that just might get you that A, then you need to be willing to accept that drafting is not the last step. Instead, look at this whole process as like getting ready for a vacation. In the preparation phase, you made your list, checked it twice, and then pulled out everything you want to take in some random order. Now you're getting ready to pack the stuff. Depending on how organized your list was, the packing part will be easy. However, once you're done packing, you're still not quite done. You have to double check, make sure that you put the right toothpaste in the right carry-on, and that you labeled all your luggage correctly. That will be the revision phase. Okay, maybe that analogy is a little bit silly, but you get the idea. Writing your paper is a cinch if you started with a nice detailed outline. All you need to do is follow your outline and turn your bullet points into paragraphs and add additional interesting details. Don't worry too much about your wording or things like grammar, spelling, and punctuation. For the first draft, it's the ideas that are important. You want to make sure you're saying what you really wanted to say and not leaving anything important out. So when you're done, try reading what you wrote out loud. Make sure it sounds the way you wanted it to. The final step in the writing process is, unfortunately, not review within 24 hours, although I could make that fit in here if I wanted to. However, here the final step is revising or editing. These two things are similar, but not quite the same. Editing is checking over to make sure that you didn't make any errors in grammar, spelling, or punctuation. You're going to look to see if all of your sentences are complete sentences and not fragments. You'll make sure you are using the right verb tenses and that things match up. You will also check your spelling. Don't forget about all those homonyms we talked about to death during the first week of class. Make sure you've chosen the right one in your writing. A fresh pair of eyes for this phase is very helpful. Get someone else to look it over, preferably someone who is good with English and spelling. To catch mistakes yourself, try reading your paper backwards, word by word. That way, you won't skim over things you thought you put in but are missing. Revising is a bit different. This involves making sure that what you wrote really matches the topic of the paper and is in a logical order. Again, having an outline right from the beginning helps this part immensely, because you are less likely to go off onto tangents if you wrote an outline to start with. If you didn't, try taking what you did write and making an outline from it. This is called reverse outlining, and it can help you double check to make sure your paper includes everything you wanted it to include or were required to say, and that you didn't get off track. During this stage, you also check to make sure that your paper is the right length and meets any other physical requirements, like double spacing, and that you put your name on your paper. Once all that is done, it's ready to hand in.